Ipecac from Allen's Keynote. Family Rubiaceae. Adapted to cases where the gastric symptoms predominate, tongue clean or slightly coated. In all diseases with constant and continual nausea. Nausea with profuse saliva, vomiting of white, glary mucus in large quantities without relief. Sleepy afterwards, worse from stooping, the primary effects of tobacco of pregnancy. Stomach feels relaxed as if hanging down, clutching, squeezing, gripping as from a hand, each finger sharply pressing into intestines, worse from motion. Flatulent, cutting colic about umbilicus. Stool, grassy green of white mucus, bloody, tormented, foamy, slimy like frothy molasses. Autumnal dysentery, cold nights after hot days. Asiatic cholera, first symptoms where nausea and vomiting predominate. Hemorrhage, active or passive, bright red from all the orifices of the body. Uterine, profuse, clotted, heavy, oppressed breathing during stitches from navel to uterus. Cutting pains across abdomen from left to right. Cough, dry, spasmodic, constricted, asthmatic. Difficult breathing from least exercise. Violent dyspnea with wheezing and anxiety about the stomach. Whooping cough, child loses breath, turns pale, stiff and blue, strangling with gagging and vomiting of mucus, bleeding from nose or mouth. Cough with rattling of mucus in bronchi when inspiring, threatened suffocation from mucus. Pains as if bones were all torn to pieces. Intermittent fever in beginning of irregular cases with nausea and from gastric disturbance after abuse of or suppression from quinine. Intermittent dyspepsia every other day at some hour, fever with persistent nausea. Oversensitive to heat and cold. Relations, complementary cuprum is followed well by arsenic in influenza, chills, croup, debility, cholera infantum, by antimptat in foreign bodies in larynx, similar to pulsatilla antimcrude in gastric troubles. Aggravation, winter and dry weather, warm, moist south winds, slightest motion. Ipecac from Homeopathic Materia Medica. Ipecac root. The chief action is on the ramifications of the pneumogastric nerve, producing spasmodic irritation in chest and stomach. Morphia habit. The principal feature of Ipecacuanha is its persistent nausea and vomiting, which form the chief guiding symptoms, indicated after indigestible food, raisins, cakes, etc. Specially indicated in fat children and adults who are feeble and catch cold in relaxing atmosphere, warm, moist weather. Spasmodic affections, hemorrhages, bright red and profuse. Mind irritable, holds everything in contempt, full of desires for what they know not. Head. Bones of skull feel crushed or bruised. Pain extends to teeth and root of tongue. Eyes inflamed, red. Pain through eyeballs, profuse lacrimation. Cornea dim. Eyes tired from near vision. State of vision constantly changing. Spasm of accommodation from irritable weakness of the ciliary muscle. Nausea from looking on moving objects. Face, blue rings around eyes, periodical orbital neuralgia with lacrimation, photophobia and smarting eyelids. Nose, coryza with stoppage of nose and nausea, epistaxis. Stomach, tongue usually clean, mouth moist, much saliva, constant nausea and vomiting with pale, twitching of face, vomits food, bile, blood, mucus. Stomach feels relaxed as if hanging down, hiccup. Abdomen, Amoebic dysentery with tenesmus, while straining pain so great that it nauseates, little thirst, cutting, clutching, worse, around the navel, body rigid, stretched out, stiff. Stools, pitch like, green as grass, like frothy molasses, with gripping at navel, dysenteric, slimy. Female, uterine hemorrhage, profuse, bright, gushing with nausea, vomiting during pregnancy, pain from navel to uterus, menses too early and too profuse. Respiratory, dyspnea, constant constriction in chest, asthma, yearly attacks of difficult shortness of breathing, continued sneezing, coryza, wheezing cough incessant and violent. With every breath, chest seems full of phlegm but does not yield to coughing. Bubbling rails, suffocative cough, child becomes stiff and blue in the face, whooping cough with nosebleed and from mouth. Bleeding from lungs with nausea, feeling of constriction, rattling cough, croup. Hemoptysis from slightest exertion, hoarseness, especially at end of a cold, complete aphonia. Fever, intermittent fever, irregular cases after quinine. Slightest chill with much heat, nausea, vomiting and dyspnea. Relapses from improper diet. Sleep with eyes half open, shocks in all limbs on going to sleep. Extremities, body stretched stiff, followed by spasmodic jerking of arms towards each other. Skin, pale, lax, blue around eyes, miliary rash. Modalities, worse, periodically from veal, moist warm wind, lying down. Compare arsenic, chamomilla, pulsatilla, tartar emetic. In asthma, compare Blata orientalis. Antidotes, arsenic, China. Complementary, cuprum arnica. Dose, 3rd to 200th potency.